Hey, this is Sam Black with my third match with this Ebsen Devotion deck. I am on the draw against a mulligan. Being against a mulligan makes keeping a hand that's a little threat light better, but this hand is way too slow on the draw. And I have a bunch of lands that aren't really going to do anything, so I'll send it back. This is probably better. Let's look for some... That's perfect. Lucrinous out there. Fully expect it to get downfalled. Demonic Pact. Alright, well, let's play this and another Lucrinous. If I have to discard 2 here, I lose Forest Farika. But my opponent opted to draw 2. Elvish Visionary. Alright. Let's lead off with a Lucrinous attack. This might have been wrong. It's possible that I should have just Doomwaked and then attacked. I'm not going to play these lands. I'm going to save them to discard. I guess I might as well monstrous this before my opponent has mana to kill it in response, given the line I've taken. If my opponent passes here, I think I should expect a company. No idea what my opponent's going to take. Both are reasonable. Goes for Farika. this ultimate price. Alright, let's just play the Doomwake. And I think I'm going to hold this since my opponent's playing Thoughtseize. Might get it to fire off. My opponent draws another one. This is going to drain me for 4, which is no big deal. And then we'll getting to the moment of truth on this Demonic Pact, which I don't have high hopes for. Goes for the Doomwake. Alright, wonder what else is going to happen to that. Blade to finish it off. And a Reclamation Sage for the Pact. That's much better for me than an invasive species would be. Play Nykthos and pass. Liliana. That's pretty scary. A little surprised this didn't become grab anything and cast it. Maybe even another Demonic Pact. I guess Pact is just draw 2, drain 4, since the discard's off. That's fine, but my opponent can likely do better. Wouldn't be surprised if this minuses to find something like a Garruk. But my opponent could also just go for the ultimate. Nope, minus. Alright, this might be a start. It's too bad that's likely not going to work out. 1 mana short. If only I had played this land. Opponent's only going to have whatever was just tutored for, but Liliana is still going, so expect a minus to get rid of this Whisperwood. Yep. It was just a Demonic Pact. Switch to the draw 2, of course. And I assume that next turn Liliana is going to search for Bellower to get species, but I don't really know what's in my opponent's deck. Well, there's Bellower. I guess maybe we don't care about the drain 4 and we just want to rebuy now. guess Master the Unseen is the card that I'm hoping for to get me out of this. Obviously my opponent has plenty of ways to deal with it, but might be relying more on species and less on Reclamation Sage. I don't really think this can hit anything that can save me or come even close. Trying to decide if it's worth showing additional cards. Kinda think it's not. Alright, so that deck is really grindy. So I just want to get better at grinding. It's not very fast. So don't feel the need to have a bunch of extra mana in my deck. It's pretty good at just killing things. It's very good at killing enchantments, so Doomwake is a bit of a liability. Maybe something like this is right. Ultimate price is fine, but I don't think I need it. Let's try this. Try to overpower my opponent. Unravel would also be a consideration, but I think given not that many targets in the presence of Thoughtseize, it's just not really worth it. I have to mulligan this. I can keep this though. That's not good. Courser is obviously a really good draw. And my opponent is missing land drops. My system's getting a little slow here. Try to find some business. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. think I manifest this mastery to try to find a land. Alright, not much of a game there. I don't know if I want to change anything. I'm on the draw, which theoretically makes Voyaging Satyr a little better, but I think the game is just going to go like that, where my opponent has early discard and removal to make the game go late, and then I just want the top of my deck to be as powerful as I can make it. So I'm going to stick with this configuration. This is great. Just have everything in perfect quantities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Kind of play the fetch land and the Caryatid, and then next turn I can play Courser with a fetch land and not having played a land, so I get a lot of shots at the free land. My hand is stacked enough this Thoughtseize is kind of stretched. This is a nice thing about having See the Unwritten Main and Genesis Hydra in the board, where the plan is to be able to swap them against control decks, but in the right kind of grindy matchup I can just overload. That was an interesting choice. That was not the card that I thought I would lose. That was the one that seemed least valuable to me. Especially against an opponent who has Bileblade. But might have sided Bileblade out, I guess. There's a Pact. Try to compete with me on power level. Or on all this card advantage or whatever. Draw Pelucranos, hit a fetch land. Another Genesis Hydra on top. I'd like to draw that Genesis Hydra, so I'm just going to cast Pelucranos. I have these 2 lands here to discard to the Demonic Pact. Wouldn't be surprised if this just drains the Courser for 4. But my opponent might feel like they need to draw something. Discard 2 with pleasure. Now I get 3 looks at playing a land anyway, because I got to keep the Courser. Oh. Or that could happen. That's really bad. draw Genesis Hydra now, since I'm only going to have 4 mana. So let's shuffle it away. See, the Unwritten is also not what I'm looking for. Alright. Would really like to get 6 mana to play the Genesis Hydra so that it can be a 4/4, so that I might be able to kick See the Unwritten. But that doesn't look like. I'm not going to have access to both of these. Land? Yeah. Interesting. I think you're better than the Genesis Hydra. If my opponent has enchantment removal, it's kind of stretched on needing to answer all these pacts anyway. I'm probably going to lose the Genesis Hydra here, but that's fine. I can just spend the mana on Mastery instead. Nope, just deal 4, draw 2. Fine by me. Bellower for species, I assume. Unless we're just going for Rex Age on the Mastery. Nope. That's something that's worth doing instead of activating Mastery. Ooh, a good one. Okay. Does this show me what it's done? No, it doesn't track it in any way. That's kind of annoying. So if I flip this and attack Lily, my opponent has to plus it next turn, which means can't tutor, but it also means I lose my Eidolon. But that's the only way that I might be able to. I have no idea what the status of this pact is. having two of them and having one of them returned makes it really hard to keep track of. I wish this interface was better for this. I think I need to flip this. Very impressed by Liliana out of this deck. No idea what's left for this thing to do. Discard 2 cards. Okay, great. That's redundant with the Liliana plus that has to happen. I believe I want to chump block this because it's possible that my opponent can't answer Pact, but can play another Pact. And then the way to win would be to drain me for 4 before this Pact trigger happens. So I want to stay above 4. Nope, another Bellower for another species will stop that from happening. And that will do it. I guess I can manifest and chump and block, but my opponent can just play 2 Pacts and then I'm super dead. Alright, fairly impressive showing by this green-black Pact deck.